Hey there everybody on YouTube land, it's Lord Bear 90 coming at you with a movie review this time. This time I'm going to be doing a review of M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. Now, before I get into my personal opinion about the film, I want to explain, first off, for people that literally got up out of their seat in the theater at the very first name mispronounced, grow the frick up. So what? Sokka's name was pronounced as Sokka. Iroh was Iroh. So what? Just because a character's name was mispronounced in the movie doesn't give you any reason to want to hate the film. Now, given my personal opinion, I loved the film. I don't personally mind that it wasn't the greatest film. It wasn't the greatest film in the world, but in my personal opinion, it wasn't that bad. A lot of people really ripped on the film because it was either A, far too rushed, or B, the characters were misrepresented, or C, their freaking names were mispronounced. I know quite a few people that I used to be friends with here on YouTube. I'm not going to mention any of their names, but there were some that I was really close friends with here on YouTube that threw a fit because Aang's name was pronounced as Ong. Really? That's your excuse for hating the live-action movie? Really? There are also quite a few people that hated the film because certain characters were misrepresented as far as actors due to either their skin color or their nationality. For example, Prince Zuko, General Iroh, or Iroh as he was pronounced in the movie, even Fire Lord Ozai, they were all represented as more or less Indian people. I personally didn't really care because to me they represented each of their animation counterparts fairly well. The Fire Lord, I think he was spot on, except besides the fact that he was Indian, I think he did a representation of the Fire Lord very, very well. The only character, however, in the whole movie that I did not like was Commander Zhao. Throughout the entire movie, he was referred to as Commander Zhao. The one flaw I saw in that was because at the end of the movie, he was still referred to as Commander Zhao. The very end of the movie represented the end of the first season, where Zhao actually was killed off. When he was killed off, he was actually an admiral. As a matter of fact, in the scene where Zuko shows up as the Blue Spirit and rescues Aang, that was where, in the series, that was when Zhao was appointed as Admiral by the Fire Lord. He was referred to as the commander throughout the entire movie. Now, my personal opinions, I thought the visual effects were awesome. I thought they were very, very, very well done and very well put together. The air effects, they looked pretty realistic. The water was iffy, especially in the beginning of the movie, where we see Katara start trying to waterbend a little bit. It looked a little bit iffy. But by the end of the movie, where Aang more or less created a tsunami over the entire fleet of the Fire Lord ships, or the Fire Nation ships, I thought that was incredibly awesome. Granted, in the actual cartoon, he didn't make a tidal wave. He became more or less a water spirit with the help of the moon. However, for some reason, M. Night didn't want to do that for the movie. He wanted him to more or less create a very, very massive tidal wave, which again, as I said, was very, very impressive. And in my opinion, it was the best visual effect as far as waterbending goes. As far as the earthbending was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. The firebending, I really liked, because I'm not a pyro person, but I'm definitely a fan of fire. And anything to do with fire, I like. And aside from the fact that the firebenders had to be around a particular flame in order to bend it, whereas in the cartoon, they could literally create fire from their hands, I really liked it. That was as far as my opinion goes, that was the best element in the film to be bended. Or bent, or however you want to say that. I apologize that my hand is shaking because I am not technologically advanced as far as making a slideshow like some other people. So I'm actually recording a picture of The Last Airbender on my computer. Matter of fact, that's pretty much my computer right here. My screen's real dirty. Anyhow, I thought the characters were very well represented. The emotions portrayed in some of them, I thought was pretty spot on. However, for Sokka, he was a little bit smarter in the movie than he actually is in the show. In the show, he's still very smart. He's a strategist, so he's basically a battle genius. But in other situations, he's not very bright. In the movie, Sokka was portrayed a little bit brighter than he is in the cartoon. He's a little smarter. The way that the costumes of each character looked, I thought they were really close. Now, at first, I was a bit concerned because when we see Katara and Sokka for the first scene in the movie, they're not wearing all blue suits like they are in the show in the very first episode. As a matter of fact, their suits are actually brown. However, throughout the rest of the film, they are wearing blue suits. They're natural blue color. Katara's dress and Sokka's attire, I don't know what you would call it. Robe, I guess? I don't know. Aang's costume, his robe, his cloak, even his staff were pretty spot on as far as I'm concerned. His flying staff, which I actually liked, I loved his flying staff. The way the computer animation made that flying staff look so realistic, I couldn't believe it. Even Appa looked very believable, aside from the fact that he had a blue face. That was one thing that actually did confuse me. He had a blue face in the movie, but in the cartoon, his face was actually gray. But aside from that, pretty accurate. Their bending fighting styles, their stances, their moves, pretty accurate to the show, at least in my opinion. Now, I'm not a martial arts expert. I don't really study martial arts. But I'm fairly sure that the moves that they used in the movie are fairly accurate to the moves used in the cartoon. Now, did I like the story behind how Zuko got his scar? Not really. I mean, it closely represented how he got his scar in the actual cartoon. Now, here's the one thing in the entire show that actually was mispronounced that I do really gripe about. It is the only mispronunciation I gripe about. The battle between two firebenders is called Agni Kai, not Agni Ki. It is Agni Kai. I don't know what it translates into. I'm actually not sure if it's Chinese or Japanese that they're using as far as the name of the battle. I'm actually not really sure what it means, what it translates into. But I prefer it to be pronounced as Agni Kai. That is the only mispronunciation in the entire film that aggravated me. Other than that, I saw no problems whatsoever. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video, and I'm going to upload it to my account, and it should be up sometime tomorrow because it's going longer than my other videos have so far, so we'll see how long it takes before this video uploads. If you have your own opinions and your own comments about The Last Airbender, by all means, post your comments on my video. But any comments about the name mispronunciations or the characters being misrepresented by race or their skin color or how they looked or how they acted, don't even bother. I want real opinions, real mature opinions about the film. I'm one of the few people that loved the film. I know a lot of people hated the film. I personally liked it. So whether you hated the film or you liked the film, comment below in the link in the video description and let me know. Low Bear 90 off.